There's different tools and techniques that I've seen have drastically changed the way that I plan and the way that I manage everything. And it's not just about what's inside the calendar, but how you think about it. So this is where time blocking and batching and setting days comes into play. As you can see here, there are different colors, and that basically is tied to what's down here at the corner. I have to admit it, I'm not a fan of Notion. I use Gmail for everything, and not only is it free, but I can also have it on my phone, and best of all, I link it with 2 other free tools, and it keeps me so organized, especially as somebody who is self-employed. If you're in the same position, you understand what that means. So basically, you're in charge of your own time. This means if you don't catch yourself and you don't stay organized, you can spend hours and hours scrolling, pretending like you're working when you're actually not getting the stuff done, because no one is on top of you telling you like, hey, submit it by this day, do it by this time. You can always procrastinate, and I know I can't be the only one that falls into that trap. And most importantly, it's not just about knowing how to use your calendar. Like, yes, the Google Calendar looks pretty nice. It's all fully color coordinated, and there is like a lot of structure to it, but it's actually about knowing how to manage it and put it inside the calendar. So first things first, we're going to divide it into pillars. First, we have the work pillar. Then I'm going to do the personal pillar, and then what I call life. Like tons of things. This includes bills, like when things are due, anything that's coming up. And then personal is more like things that I'm doing for myself. So whether it's time to read, my morning routine, X and Y, and I'm gonna show you how everything is actually color coordinated for the Google Calendar. But first, it starts off with, okay, let's make a list. And this type of list I actually love doing on like physical pen and paper. So let's go grab that. All right. Notebook is ready to go, and this video is actually super well paired with the video that I just posted about doing your mid-year reset. So it's not only about setting your goals at the beginning of the year, but also doing the mid-year reset. And once you do that and you put it into your Google Calendar, it's like synced together. It works so well. It literally makes the bicycle work. And that's how you end up reaching the goals that we set, whether it's at the beginning of the year or your mid-year check-in. So what I'm gonna do is basically write out the 3 pillars. So we have work, we have personal, and then we have what I call life. So under those, I'm going to write out basically anything that comes to mind, kind of like a brain dump of what has to get done. So in work, what has to get done? Well, I have weekly meetings, I have monthly meetings with X and Y client, then I have meetings with my team. I have to send content weekly for my video editors to film. I have to actually plan the content that I'm going to film. And then basically just working backwards and writing everything that has to get done down. Same thing with personal. And I also make a note of it, whether it's recurring or one time. So personal, for example, something that I love having in my calendar is like annual checkups. Then whenever I have like important events, like if I know I have a specific family thing, certain time of year that's recurring, I'll write that down. And in life, basically, we have everything that comes up. So we're going to do the bills, things that are automated. So any house stuff, any travel stuff, like right now that I'm traveling, we normally plan out everything like in chunks of 3 months. Since we're doing 1 new city per month, we'll book like the next chunk and the next chunk so that, you know, it's not super wild and crazy. So adding that in quarterly to my calendar just is going to make my life so simple, so easy. Not only does it save time, but at the end, it actually ends up making me more money because I don't have a ton of things top of mind to keep in my head to be like thinking like, is this when we're supposed to book our flights? Is this when I'm supposed to do this? Is this when I'm supposed to have like my family check-in call? No, like everything is out here. So in my brain, it's like, okay, let's be creative. Let's create cool ideas. Let's focus on work and what needs to get done. Let's do it. Full list here, and this is where the good stuff happens, so pay attention. There's different tools and techniques that I've seen have drastically changed the way that I plan and the way that I manage everything, and it's not just about what's inside the calendar, but how you think about it. So this is where time blocking and batching and setting days comes into play. So for example, I've mentioned a lot that when I create content, I do it on a certain day. So you've all known for forever ago that Thursdays are my filming days. The reason why I always set in stone that Thursday was my filming day since I got started on YouTube like 2-3 years ago was because it takes time. It takes time to get ready. If I'm getting ready, if I'm doing makeup, that takes time. If I'm doing my hair, that takes time. If I'm setting up the equipment, that takes time. If I'm making sure my batteries are charged, my SD cards are emptied out, that all takes time. So by making sure it's only on one day, like the whole week, I'm not thinking about, should I get ready now, or let's pull out the phone, pull out the camera now. No, it only happens on that day. It allows me to work a lot faster, to be a lot more efficient, and it doesn't just stay there. I have meeting days. I have days where I'm working with clients. I have days where I'm planning content. That way, everything is so structured out. I don't need to spend a ton of time if somebody says, hey, when can we meet? I know Fridays are my go-to meeting days. And obviously, this has changed a lot throughout the years because there are things that I no longer do that I was doing back then. The number of clients that the agency works with has drastically decreased because we're not onboarding any new clients. My content days have drastically increased because that's where the majority of my time is going. Meeting with different people that I work with, like the number of video editors, that has increased because the more I pump out, you guys know that I do a channel in English and Spanish, then I hire more and more people for each different channel. And I don't do this. I literally will end up scrolling, I'll end up preparing, I'll end up planning. Like I have tons of different like filler names for pretending like I'm doing something when I'm not actually getting the stuff done. Basically, the goal is to remove any friction that might occur. And I really learned this inside the book Atomic Habits. It's a book that I was like, what else could be in there? And it actually blew my mind because it made me realize that it's not just about setting goals, but actually setting systems. So when you set systems, when you put it into place, it actually gets done. If my goal is to hit 100K on YouTube, that's not going to happen just, by me sitting here and scrolling and pretending like I'm planning. It actually happens by, scripting out the videos, planning what content I'm gonna put out, hiring the best video editors, spending hours uploading the video because honestly, I think nobody talks about it, but uploading to YouTube is a process, like the thumbnail, the title, the description, the tags, chapters. It takes so much time. So by me setting out and making sure that I have that time blocked, that's when I'll actually accomplish what I'm going to. And that really ties into another book. I know, another book, but this one's also a really great one, and it's The Power of One More by Ed Mylett. Something that really I was like, that blew me away was that he literally says he divides his days into 3. So each day he divides it into 3. Like he has the morning chunk, the afternoon chunk, and then the night chunk. And then throughout that day, he says like he fills it up to get 3 times more stuff done than the normal average person gets done in one day. And that's when I'm like, like everyone talks about time management being so important, and I don't think we realize it, but it's so important. And of course, I'm not gonna leave you hanging on the hacks to actually make the Google Calendar work, how to make it look pretty, the shortcuts, and the 2 other apps that there's like 3 others that are free that I pair it with. So welcome to my Google Calendar. This is for some past weeks. As you can see, there's a ton of different color coordinated blocks. And as you can see, there are also times when it's like changed drastically in the time zones. And it's because I've been traveling and I've been all over the place. So sometimes it moves up, sometimes it moves down, but at the end of it, my calendar, basically, there are things that stay the same, and then I start adding in depending on what project exactly is the project that I'm currently working on. So as you can see here, there are different colors, and that basically is tied to what's down here at the corner. So we have a calendar that's called Me, and basically this is what's coming from my personal list that I wrote down here in my notebook. So everything that's here, I would basically put it under the Me calendar. Then we have TDC, which is the agency that I founded. If we have any client work, any things that I have to check in, like admin stuff, I'll do it under here. Travel, so that means that all the flights, hotels, things that I need to know are also in my calendar. Projects, if I'm working on anything special. LG brands, so that's everything that's coming from my own content. We have Grow and Learn. This is the time that I have specified to literally grow and learn. So it's when I read, when I take courses, when I jump on calls that that are interesting to me. YouTube has its own section, and that is where not only I will put in my calendar when I'm filming, but I also script all my YouTube videos in Gmail, so in the Google Calendar. We have finance time, so that's specific to business finance, and then if anything is due, like credit card payments, all of that, I'll put it in that green finance. SQ, which is another project that I have. Appointments, so doctors, anything medical, like eyebrows, anything in regards to appointments has this separate label. And then task. Task is one of the really cool ones, and here is the ultimate little pairing that I like doing. So I'll pair the Gmail with the task that you see here. So this is actually a button for task, and if you open it up, there are tons of different things that I schedule in that have a due date. And the reason why I love it is because not only do I have it on my Gmail, but you have to actually check and mark it as completed. It's so cool. And literally, like this one, for example, promo email. This is one that I have recurring every Wednesday because you guys know I have a newsletter that comes out. So promote the newsletter, like what was it about? And if I don't do it, it literally shows like these are all the ones that I haven't completed. And if I have completed it, then I'll just mark it and I'll just say like, hey, mark as completed, and it checks it off, which is a super cool thing to visually see. Now, on top of that, if you're pairing your Gmail with Task, which is also completely free from Google, you can have a widget on your phone, which to me is like the coolest thing. So those same tasks that we saw there are actually right here in my phone, and they show up super small. I'll get the notification, and I love having that where it's not like my full calendar so I can see everything, because sometimes I don't want to be stressing over what's happening tomorrow or all the things that I have to do that same day. But if I have my task here, it works super cool to keep it top of mind and know exactly what I have to get done. So that's one of the 3 other free tools that I pair Google Calendar with. All right, and for the actual how to make it look like this, because I know normally the colors that Google Calendar comes with, like if you just use the basic settings, it looks kind of like, like too bright, too just, I don't know, like cringy. It doesn't make it easy to look forward to like how to use your calendar if you use the normal colors. And that's because the normal colors, these are actually already kind of like changed to mine, but they're super dark, they're super bright, just doesn't look good. So how to add different calendars, literally you go to my calendars, you see how you can actually make this bigger, and then you'll just add other calendars. So you can create a new calendar, you can have multiple people on here. Let's say house stuff, if I want to share it with Gabe, if I want to even have like a family calendar, if I want to have a calendar with my team, like my video editors, so they know exactly what video I'm working on, then I'll add them there. You can create a new name, description, who is working on it, and it works super, super, super cool. Now, the best part here is that you can literally change everything. You can rename it under settings and sharing. And I love doing emojis on it just because it makes it just prettier. Like if I'm looking at this every single day, if this is the thing that's literally guiding everything that I'm doing, well, let's make it as pretty as possible. So I'll have emojis, I'll have a good title on it so I know exactly what calendar it's for. And a super cool thing is that if you're also traveling, you can set different time zones. So whenever I move, whenever I'm like in a new location, I'll just open this up and you can change your different time zone. You can also add a different time zone to show up here. You can just go here by settings and you can display a secondary time zone. So this is super cool. Let's say if I'm working with a lot of people on the Eastern time zone, which I definitely am, I can have that saved in, and no matter if I'm in Thailand, Europe, whatever, I can always see what time they're at. So it's super easy to just customize it and make it feel like it's completely yours, and that's the best part. So under each day, you'll see how if I'm out of the office, I block the full thing out. If I have a travel day, for example, I'll block the full thing out so I know not to schedule other things there. I have my usual things. So this is normally what pretty much like is always there. So I have my morning routine, which is work out, meditate, do the things I have. I'll block out a good time, and that way I know that after that is when my day starts. So for example, write the email. I have that every Tuesday because I know it comes out on Wednesday. So that's always happening. If I have to edit something, if I have to film, if I have to upload, this is normally what it looks like. Some super cool hacks that I think not a lot of people know, and it makes it a lot easier to really manage and to make this an easy process, are these shortcuts to basically change your view. So if you want to create a new event super quickly, let's say you're on the phone with somebody, you're in a meeting, all you have to do is press the C on your keyboard and it automatically opens up a new event. If you want to change how you're viewing it, so this is the week view, you can change to day view, you can change to week view, and you can also go to month view. you. So you have W, D, and M, which are super cool. So it's super easy to change. And then we're going back to week mode. I personally love looking at it through week mode. And now, best of all, there are two other things that I like pairing the calendar with. So as you can see here, there are different icons here. And yes, you can pair with all the other Google things, but my personal top ones are Task, like I already mentioned, and Google Keep. Google Keep is basically like the notes app of Apple, except it's on Gmail. And by having it on Gmail, like the G Suite, you can also have it on your phone. You can add members. So I have different notes with my team members if I want to share stuff. Let's say if I'm going on a trip with my friends, we can create a note and everyone can add things in. I love doing that when I'm traveling. And a super cool thing, again, is that you can also have it as a widget on your phone, which is something that I think is absolutely like cool because you keep it top of mind. So I have a Keep for content ideas, for travel ideas, for travel places that I want to go. If I have travel itineraries that I want to share with people, let's say my friend that shared like her top places in Tokyo, she can send it to me through Keep, and that way we can both look at it. She can start adding things, I can add things, and we can have this like shared place to collab in. The best part is that you have everything under one thing. Last but not least, another tool that I love pairing everything in Gmail with is Toggle Track. Toggle is another free tool. This one isn't through G Suite, but it is very cool. You can have it on your phone, you can download it as an app on your desktop, or you can just use like the Google Chrome extension. Basically what it does is it allows you to track your time so you know exactly how much time you're spending. I think nobody thinks about it, but sometimes we say, hey, I'm posting on Instagram, and then when you look back, it actually took you 3 hours to post. Or I'm just gonna do some admin things, I'm gonna work on my emails. And then you look back and 5 hours went by because yes, you were doing emails, but you were also scrolling and this and that. So having Toggle Track just really allows you to know exactly how much time you're spending on everything. And that way, when you look back and say, hey, maybe why was it so easy to accomplish this? Or why didn't I accomplish this? Not only can I look back and see, look at the colors. Like if I'm spending so much time on one project and I see green all over my calendar and I don't see any orange, it's like, how can you expect that project to have grown if you didn't even put in time? If I look at Toggle and I see the amount of hours I worked on a project and I didn't even see any results from it, well, I can make good decisions on, maybe it's time to change something. So it's super cool to have like a clear vision on personal stuff, on business stuff, on life stuff. Like, where is your time going? How much time are you spending into it? So Google Calendar, of course, free, super cool to use, super customizable, and it's not what people expect it to be like. You can use so many features to actually make it super cool. Pair it with Google Task and use it as a widget on your phone. Then use Google Keep for your notes. Very cool. Different people can collaborate, and Toggle Track to actually track your time and see where your time is going. Everything is free, it's super easy to use, and it has ways of making it look and feel so pretty, so nice, so that organizing and having a calendar doesn't feel like, you know what I mean? Hope it helps. Let me know in the comments if you really liked it, and of course, pair it with the mid-year reset, and I promise you it's gonna be next level. See you here next week. Bye-bye.